women watching right now are struggling with PCOS, as well as perhaps menopause at the same time, what are some ways they can manage symptoms and reduce their risks for other things?
So much like women without PCOS, as you enter this perimenopause, menopause stage of life, your insulin resistance increases. And I'm sure you're having experts come on to talk about that. And for women with PCOS, insulin resistance definitely becomes more challenging. I definitely have seen that in myself. I'm going to be 51 in a couple of weeks. So I've had to change my lifestyle a bit. And what has worked for me and really works for a lot of women in this stage of the game is intermittent fasting. And I would imagine you're going to be talking about that in more detail as well. But intermittent fasting, having breaking your fast in the morning to early afternoon when you're really hungry, when your body is showing signs that it's hungry, and then making sure that you're breaking the fast with protein in that meal has made a huge difference for me and my clients, at this stage in life in terms of managing weight and energy, lessening brain fog, and decreasing insulin resistance. Another way that's really helpful to decrease insulin resistance is the supplement myo-inositol. And myo-inositol, the product that I like and I recommend, it's called Avositol, and it contains both myo-inositol and D-chiroinositol. And it's often used for women who are trying to get pregnant because it helps with not only insulin resistance, but egg quality and ovulation. And of course, in menopause, we don't need those things, but we can definitely benefit from the insulin sensitizing ability of myo-inositol. And as I mentioned, there aren't a lot of great studies on women in PCOS and menopause, but there are two on women that are menopausal with PCOS who did use inositols. And in the first study, and I can send you these links so you can put them in the show notes. But in the first, that researchers found a remarkable decrease in metabolic syndrome in women who took inositol and found that it was really a good choice for insulin sensitizing and the treatment of metabolic syndrome. And then in the second study, they found that myo-inositol helped to manage blood pressure and serum triglycerides, and there was an improvement in high density lipoprotein cholesterol. So, and in that study, they recommended a supplementation with myo-inositol for women with PCOS. But in addition to inositols and managing your insulin resistance with intermittent fasting, making sure that you eat a lot of plant-based food and clean animal protein to help maintain and build muscle, beans, nuts, seeds, anything that's high in fiber, and sleep. I'm sure you're going to be talking about the importance of sleep and how to get more sleep. It's definitely hard and at this stage of the game. I know for me, melatonin has been a game changer, and for women with PCOS, we tend to be chronically low in melatonin, and melatonin can really help sort of keep that circadian cycle strong, because that's really important to kind of live according to the rhythm of your body, and waking up like at the same time and exposing your eyes to sunlight through various intervals of the day, I think can make a huge difference about how you feel and how you sleep. So, looking out at a sunny window, or better yet, going for a walk first thing in the morning, and then at noon if you can, and then at as the sun sets, that's a great way to kind of resync your circadian rhythm. Of course, exercise and building muscle is key for managing insulin resistance and feeling better at this stage of the game. And then, of course, lowering stress is so important. Making sure that you have a lot of self-care is so important for women with PCOS. And then just avoiding like endocrine disruptors in your environment. And these are all recommendations that, you know, any woman, regardless with or without PCOS, it's so important. But I also just want to mention, you know, if you know that you have PCOS or you think you have PCOS and you have daughters that are, you know, in their 20, you know, teens, 20s, 30s, it's so important to get a handle on things earlier in life. Because the studies, you know, the minimal studies that we have shows that by the time you reach menopause, that your risk factors, if you've been taking care of yourself throughout that reproductive years, that your risk factors for what I had mentioned before, the cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, it levels off to the same risk factor as any woman, you know, in their menopause years.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing those recommendations. And stress comes up so much. It is just that I swear, if there's one common thread in anybody talking about menopause, it's reducing stress. But I guess that's true of anything. I think most of us could probably benefit from decreasing stress because most people are in some way stressed out in life and yeah, in the world that we live in. So I appreciate you reminding everyone of that and all the many different things that we can do to do that. Before we start wrapping up, if there was one last piece of advice you wanted to share with women who have PCOS and are going through menopause, what would that be? Or a last insight?
I would just say that there's so much within your control to feel better, and knowledge is power. And it's wonderful that you're, you know, attending this event to learn more how to manage. And there's a wonderful doctor. Her name is Dr. Laura Bryden, and she talks about this period of time as your second puberty, and it's really a recalibration process. And I think the way that you're in my book, I always like to approach anything with mindset first. So the way that you think about these years, you know, you're not, you know, aging. Like it's a second puberty, and it's an opportunity for you to have an you know, a new start, a new chapter, and to kind of enter this phase with positivity and a sense of adventure. Probably the way that I would that I try to look at it, and would encourage other women to do the same, because mindset and that positive mindset is so important. Everything else kind of comes from there.
So true. Absolutely. Thank you for letting everyone know that, or remind people of that, and just how important, yeah, what our perception of these years is, and you know, how we can make it into an opportunity.
Avaya has changed my life.
Avaya has made me the woman I am today.
Avaya is my home.
Avaya is personal freedom.
Avaya is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about Avaya.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, Avaya, for appearing in my inbox.
What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at Avaya is what the world needs.